As you drive around the North Country, you see more and more solar arrays these days. And even bigger ones are in the works. Some of them, like the ones in Canton, are pretty controversial. But there are also more modest home and business scale solar projects, using sun to save people money on their electric bills and put more carbon-free emissions into the grid. A community celebration of a new project just online in Essex County on today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day is provided by Renew Architecture and Design, designing camps, custom homes, and more throughout NCPR's listening region. Details at renewarchitecture.com.
Hey, I'm David Sommerstein. It's Tuesday, April 25th. First up, St. Lawrence Health and nurses at its 3 North Country hospitals are trying to negotiate a new contract. Nurses at Canton, Potsdam, Gouverneur, and Massena hospitals say safe staffing is a big sticking point. Kara Chapman has more.
Negotiations on a new contract between St. Lawrence Health and the 3 hospitals' unions started in the fall. The latest bargaining session, their 26th, involved a mediator and lasted from 9 a.m. Wednesday into the early morning hours on Thursday.
It was rough. I think we made a lot of gains.
That's Brittany Murphy, a nurse at Massena Hospital. She's also a member of the hospital's New York State Nurses Association Executive Committee.
I think we moved in a really positive direction on a lot of things that are very, very important, both to the hospital and the community.
Things like pay and health insurance, she says. SLH says it proposed a 21% pay raise over the next 5 years, as well as a new health insurance option. Pay parity that would put nurses at all 3 hospitals on the same wage scale was also discussed. But Murphy says negotiations missed the mark on some key areas, like safe staffing. Based on her experience at Massena Hospital, Murphy says SLH isn't adhering to staffing ratios it agreed to with New York State last year.
There are times when on day shift we will have 7 patients apiece, and that's a lot. At 7 patients apiece, I can give my patient about 8.5 minutes of my time per hour.
Murphy says that means patients aren't getting the level of care they should be getting. She sees this as both a recruitment and a retention issue. Fellow nurse Susan Quinnell agrees. She estimates that at least 6 nurses have left her department over the last year and a half to take jobs as traveling nurses instead. Quinnell says her former coworkers didn't feel supported by SLH management.
Yes, there's a nursing shortage, but we could be in much better shape if we were taking better care of the nurses we have in the area.
St. Lawrence Health declined to do an interview for this story, but sent statements. On retention and guaranteeing safe staffing, SLH said its proposals, quote, contained a number of elements that will assist in the system's effort to recruit nurses. Those include the wage and benefits package, additional pay for evening and night shifts, and sign-on bonuses. Dozens of nurses and their supporters picketed outside Massena Hospital Thursday evening.
We deserve a fair contract, and our nurses and our community deserve safe, quality health care.
The next bargaining session will take place today at the new medical campus in Canton. Murphy encourages the community to come out with any questions. She says St. Lawrence Health should listen to its nurses.
We are not asking for, the moon. We're not asking for ridiculous pay raises. We're not asking for ridiculous things. We just want our patients to be safe, which at the end of the day is protecting St. Lawrence Health Systems.
In the statement, SLH said it's, quote, committed to bargaining in good faith to reach a new contract that ensures the best care for patients and fair treatment of nurses. The system added, quote, SLH continues to have the highest respect for all its nurses and is extremely grateful for all they do every day to care for patients. Kara Chapman, North Country Public Radio.
As climate change becomes more urgent by the day, all the small incremental changes towards a carbon-free future become more important. Our Adirondack reporter Emily Russell brings us to Whallonsburg in Essex County, where locals hope their new solar project inspires other towns.
It's a sunny Saturday, and a little crowd is forming outside the Whallonsburg Grange, a big red building that looks like an old barn.
Good morning, everybody.
That's Ken Hughes. He's town supervisor of Essex, which includes the hamlet of Whallonsburg.
On behalf of the town board, I'd like to say welcome to Whallonsburg, lovely, beautiful Whallonsburg, and happy Earth Day.
Hughes and others here are marking Earth Day by unveiling the town's first ever solar installation. There are now 38 solar panels on the roof here. The Grange is a historic building that dates back to 1915. Stan Dobert is the founder of Apex Solar, the company that took on the project.
This is a challenging install. We were so nervous about touching the roof.
Still, they got the job done, and they did it in the middle of a snowstorm back in February. But Dobert says the real hurdle for a project like this is funding. Because it's a public project, the town of Essex had to offer a higher level of pay to the installers at Apex.
We've been doing this for 10 years, and one of the challenges for a municipality is you have to pay prevailing wage. It makes the cost really expensive. And somehow, Nancy and Ken, you pulled it off where many municipalities just can't do it. And to make your building net zero is a huge win.
Nancy is Nancy Bernstein of the Adirondack North Country Association. She helped put all the puzzle pieces together for this project. It was funded by a $6,000 state grant, as well as money from the county's occupancy tax and from Roost, the Regional Office of Sustainable Tourism. Town Supervisor Ken Hughes says if a place like Essex can reduce its carbon footprint, others around the North Country can and should do the same.
We're a little town. We have 621 people in our town. We have a budget of about $1 million. But I believe that for large changes to be effectuated, small little towns need to get on board.
Not only will this solar array save the town money, it's also reducing local carbon emissions. In the 2 months since the panels were installed, they've generated 2.2 megawatt hours of solar power. That's more than what the Grange generally uses. The excess energy then gets put into the town's grid. Mary Nell Bachman manages the Whallonsburg Grange. She says it's hard to believe this project has come to fruition.
It seemed like a fantasy in a way that we were going to power our concerts, our lectures, our movies from the sun. You know, you just can't quite wrap your head around it until you realize, hey, that's exactly what we're doing now.
Other localities like Glens Falls and Saranac Lake are pivoting more towards green energy like solar or hydro. There is pushback, though, to much larger projects like the 1,700-acre Rich Road solar farm proposed in Canton. Projects of that scale often feed into the state's grid rather than powering the localities directly. Mary Nell Bachman from the Whallonsburg Grange says it's special knowing that a community center like this one is now powered by the sun.
It's magic. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but it feels like exactly what the people who founded this building would want to see happen.
Creating a legacy that will keep giving back for decades to come. So on a sunny Earth Day, locals gathered around to celebrate the new solar array on the Whallonsburg Grange.
Okay, so I guess we're christening and ribbon cutting. So 3, 2, 1, there we go.
Emily Russell, North Country Public Radio, Whallonsburg.
We have more news all the time on our website, ncpr.org. If you love Story of the Day and haven't signed up for the Story of the Day podcast, why not do it now? It's super great and super easy. Go to your podcast app on your phone and search for NCPR Story of the Day and click subscribe. You'll get every show downloaded automatically for free and almost 2 hours early at 4 in the afternoon. And you can listen whenever you want. It'll be right there on your device. Subscribe to the podcast of Story of the Day. Thank you very much. Music today by Oscar Sarmiento of Potsdam and the Saranac Project of Saranac Lake. I'm David Summerstein, North Country Public Radio.